Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm wearing a jacket and it's denim and I feel good about it. So this video is going to be a video that I think a lot of you will enjoy because, hold up, let me get my stuff. Alright, because I went through most of my makeup collection and I was swatching, I was playing, I was looking for dupes. And I found them. But I was looking for dupes for the Kim Kardashian and Mario palette, the KKW X Mario palette that everyone has been obsessed with and that I believe is limited edition and not everyone wants to or can get. So I decided to do a video where I basically show you some of my best dupes for this palette, and there are some pretty good ones in this video. Some of these dupes are going to be more accurate than others, but for the most part I will show you good dupes for pretty much every single color in this palette. I did do a review video where I swatched and played with a lot of these colors, and I believe I've done a tutorial or two as well, and you probably have seen this palette on my Instagram. So if you want to know more about this palette, you can check that stuff out. I will have that linked down below, but this is just going to be about finding alternatives for these colors. So let's just get into it. Alright guys, so the first shade I'm going to talk about is this shade right here. It's called 2008, and I actually have two dupes for this shade just because I want to give you guys some options. The shade itself is like this silvery white highlight color, and this is what it looks like right here. That is what it looks like swatched. And then my dupes that I have to share with you, I have several because I want to give you guys some options, you know what I'm saying? This first one is called Let Me Explain. It's from ColourPop. It's this one right here. It's a singles eyeshadow. You can get this for, I believe, $5 on the ColourPop website. It is really inexpensive, and all the ColourPop shadows in general are like on fire. They're amazing. This is a little bit more yellowy than the KKW Beauty one. This is it right there. The bottom one is the dupe, and then the top one is the actual shadow. Another shade that I found was from the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place. It's this shade right here called Giza. It is absolutely beautiful. I use this shade all the time, and I've almost hit pan on it just because it is such an amazing shade. And let me swatch this for you as well. This is a little bit closer in color. It's on the bottom, and you can see that it is a little bit closer in color to the KKW Beauty. So these swatches should give you some options when it comes to finding a dupe for that specific shade. It's a pretty standard shade, so there are a lot of different color options, but overall consider those two shades dupes for that specific color. Moving on, I have this shade right here. I love this shade, and it was kind of hard to find a dupe for it. It's called Glam, and it is this most beautiful, like bronzy shade. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. That's what this baby looks like. The shade dupe that I have is my trusty singles palette, and it's right over here. It's from Luxie Beauty, which is actually a really amazing brand for singles eyeshadows in particular. They have some really great shades. This specific one is called Orion, and it is absolutely stunning. The only difference that I see with this shade and the KKW Beauty shade is that this one just seems to be a touch more bronzy than the KKW Beauty one. You can see that they're not exact dupes, but they kind of remind me of each other. The KKW Beauty one is lighter, but the Luxie one is a little bit darker, so there you go. But the texture and the finish seems to be very similar in my opinion. Color-wise, a dupe can be found in the Masquerade palette. It's this one right here. This shade is called Dahlia, and this is what it looks like swatched. The top is a KKW, the middle is Luxie Beauty, and then the bottom is the Masquerade palette. I was swatching and I found that the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place had the dupe that was closest in color to the KKW Beauty shadow, except the Masquerade palette shadow has a little bit of a pinkier tone than the KKW Beauty one, but I find when it comes to texture and finish, the Luxie Beauty is the dupe. Does that make any sense? It's very difficult for me to find a dupe for this color. I personally don't feel like I have a lot of shades that really match this color for what it is. It is a really beautiful shade. It's one of my favorites. Next up is Miami, and it's this matte shade right here. It is very similar. People have been saying it's very similar to MAC's saddle. I don't have MAC saddle, so I can't show you that. This is what it looks like. It's a very warm brown shade. This is a pretty basic brown. It's really nothing special, but it is a very creamy and very, very, very blendable eyeshadow. I love the way it performs. It is a really awesome shade. And for dupes, I was actually looking in the Makeup by Mario Anastasia palette. This has been discontinued for quite a while, but if you have it, you might have been noticing that the color Isabel is a little bit similar to Miami. When I swatched it though, I found that it does look a little bit more orangey. I feel like the KKW shade right here is a lot more neutral, whereas the Anastasia one is a little bit more orangey. I was also looking in the Jaclyn Hill palette for Morphe because I know that a lot of you probably already have it, and I found that the color, oh shit. And I found that the color Pooter, which is this shade right here, is very similar to the Miami shade from the KKW Beauty palette. And this is what it looks like right here. From top to bottom, we have KKW Beauty, Anastasia, and then we have Jaclyn's palette. So next we have Armenian, which is this shade right here. It is a light gold color. It is a little bit more of a yellowy gold. This is what it looks like right here. Sorry, I tried to rub off the other shadows, but this is what it looks like. It, as you can see, it has a very subtle shimmer, but it is still what I would classify as a shimmer. It is absolutely beautiful. And then for dupe, I was actually looking at the Lorac Unzipped Gold palette, and this is it right here. And I found that Unlimited is actually very similar in shade to Armenian from the KKW Beauty palette. The bottom one is Lorac, and then the top is KKW Beauty. It is so hard saying KKW Beauty without like wanting like to twist my tongue around. It's just so weird. Then I have a spot on dupe for Loyalty, which is this warm dark brown right here. This again, so incredibly blendable. I've used it and it is absolutely like one of the most blendable shadows I own right now. It is so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. I think I'm wearing it on my eyes today actually. I actually chose to wear the palette on my eyes because I figured might as well, you know, this is a video themed on the palette, so that's why I wore it. So this is what it looks like right here. This is a swatch for you guys. And then my dupe is from ColourPop. It's another singles eyeshadow and it's called Cloud 9. This is what it looks like. It is almost the exact same color. And here is swatched. I actually think that when it comes to pigment, the ColourPop one is a little bit more pigmented. It's this one right here than the KKW Beauty one. But the KKW Beauty one is more blendable than the ColourPop one. So there you have it. That is my verdict. But shade-wise, these two dupes are almost completely identical. Next I have Loyalty, which is this color right here. It's your standard bone white neutral shade. It is pretty basic, but it is quite pigmented. I do really like it a lot. This is what it looks like. I haven't used it as much as some of the other shades, but it is a pretty good solid shade. For a dupe, I'm going back into the Lorac Unzipped Gold palette, and I'm choosing this color right here called Undressed. It is a very creamy, very pigmented white color. The only difference is I feel like the undertone on this shade, which is from the Lorac Unzipped palette, is a little bit more yellow than with the KKW Beauty palette. Another option can also be from ColourPop. This is the shadow right here. It's called Beaches and Cream. So that is my dupe for this shade right here. Then moving on, I have Albanian, which is this color right here. This is an absolutely beautiful, bricky, reddy brown color. I'm wearing it on my eyes today and it is such a blendable shade. Again, blendability is amazing in this palette. Let me just swatch it for you a little bit. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's a very warm toned orangey red color. The shade that I could find that was a dupe was from the Masquerade palette and it is called Zulu. This is it right here. As you can see, it has that same warm brown red undertone quality to it. It is beautiful, and let me give you guys a swatch. They have the same blendable, pigmented, rich brick red quality. They really are beautiful shades. And then another option that I have for you if you don't have this palette is from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and it is Roxanne, which is this shade right here. It is absolutely beautiful. It is right there on the bottom, so all in all you can see that those are some pretty solid dupes for the Armenian color. Next up is Vegas, which is this purple color right here. It is absolutely beautiful. I haven't used this shade as much as I've used some of the other shades in this palette. I did use it today though, and it's right in the center of my eyelid. It's very subtle. You can't really see it too much, but it is a stunning shade. I love it so much. This is what it looks like right here. As you can see, very, very pigmented, very beautiful. And the dupe that I found is from the Juvia's Place palette, and it is called Calabar. It is this shade right here. It is slightly more pinky toned than Vegas, but in my opinion they are pretty similar to each other. Alright, next I have Libra, and this is the blue color right here that has been getting so much hype on the internet. It is beautiful. It's a really good electric blue color, and let me swatch it for you. This is what it looks like right here. I am actually wearing a little bit of it on my lower lash line, but this is my swatch. Just look at how electric that is. It is absolutely beautiful. And for a dupe, I was trying to find a dupe. I couldn't find an exact dupe because everything I owned seemed to be either too light or too dark. Nothing was really exact, so I ended up mixing two shades from the Juvia's Place Masquerade palette. And those two shades are Dahlia and She. These two shades, when you mix them, they just seem to provide a pretty good dupe for the Libra shade. And it is even brighter than the original Libra color. Granted, I did mix two colors to achieve this effect, but this is what it looks like. And you can see that those are both pretty electric, very pigmented options for one another. Last but not least, I have Bronzy, which is this tone right here. I'm running out of room to swatch, but this is what it looks like. That's it right there. And when I saw it, I was like, this looks a lot like Jaclyn Hill's SBN shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette. It's just this beautiful metallic, rosy quality, and this is what it looks like right here. The Jaclyn Hill one is on the bottom, and then the Kim Kardashian option is on the top, but all in all these are pretty similar dupes for each other. The Jaclyn Hill one is a little bit pinkier than the KKW Beauty one, but they both have that metallic pigmented intensity that just looks flawless on the eyelids. Alright, so now I'm swatched up. We are pretty much done with this video. And I've just shown you dupes for all 10 of the shades in this palette. I, for one, love this palette. I've been wearing it ever since I got it, and I just feel like it's a really good one. However, I wanted to give you guys some options because this palette is not going to be here forever. Plus, I feel like some people might not even want to get this palette, and that's why I showed you guys some dupes. I definitely feel like if you want something similar to this palette, you can easily just look to the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette because you can find a lot of similarities in this one, or you can try and look for the Masquerade palette. Both of these have been around for quite some time, and I expect them to remain so in the future, so you can find some pretty good shades in these two palettes. The other singles I mentioned and the other palettes that I mentioned are good ones as well, but I just wanted to give you guys my dupes. I'd actually really like to do this kind of video with some other palettes if you guys are interested in that. So that is pretty much for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end. I'm gonna go and wash this off now, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.